Welcome back, everyone, to ISE2025 Debrief number 2. I am glad that you could join me. Let me know where you're watching from and what the weather is there, because normally I'm sitting in the cold weather and it's not really cold, so there's no snow, but also it's not that warm. And today it has been t-shirt weather here, which has been really nice at ISE 2025. Today is going to be a bit more of a laid-back stream. There's still some cool stuff that I saw at the expo, but I also want to answer your questions, just talk a little bit about all of that. And then there's going to be a special segment today. In about 30 minutes, we're going to end the YouTube live stream and we're going to head over to LinkedIn. On LinkedIn right now, you can see our multi-viewer of our Carbonite code. Carbonite code is the switcher that we're using. And if you have any questions about that or how we're sending these multiple angles and everything there, let me know on LinkedIn and we will answer those there. There is a bunch of people joining now. Welcome, everyone. And what I am gonna show you is let's pull up some clips from today, like yesterday. If you have any, first of all, we were talking about the new Elgato PoE thing yesterday, and I still don't have an answer if it can do 2 Stream Decks, but I will keep asking. So hopefully I have an answer for you soon. Let's see. Today was sadly filled with more meetings than yesterday, so I have less footage of that. But what I wanted to show you, is today I also went, a big part of ISE is also like the events industry in general. And while we always like to think of ourselves of the events industry, there's this whole part of the events industry that does like lighting and PA sound that I am not that familiar with or included with. So I am playing on my screen. Let's play that. So what you're seeing here is how it looks in the ISE halls. A lot of LED walls. There's always an LED wall, like literally anywhere, which is fun, but at some point you also lose all the glamour about it. But there's a lot of LED walls. There was, let's look at this. There we go. And then remove this and then add this and play this again. This was really cool. It was like a 380-degree LED volume that you could use. So there's also a lot of virtual production that you can see here. But what ISE also lives by is these random things like suddenly seeing a bunch of cinema chairs, and you can test out what cinema chair you would like at home. I do really enjoy all these like random things that you can see, not really because like it would be something that I have an active use for, but because it is still pretty neat to like be aware of what the latest is. Here it is. The other thing, some of you know that I often do remote production, and one of the common issues that you have there is that you need to power things remotely. So Netio is a brand that I've been working with for a while and that I help with their companion module. And I have a bunch of their equipment at home. But what they now at least is what you see here is the American version of their PDUs. What is really cool is that every single of those plugs is powered. Would be bad if it's not powered, metered. So you can see what your devices are pulling, which is really neat because then you can build automatizations based on that. Like, for example, I know of one venue where they had issues with TVs going asleep. So what they did is they set up a rule that if the consumption drops below this value for that outlet, it gets flicked off and on again. And I've been using these at home for a while now. You also see in the back here the huge three-phase one. So if you really need a lot of power, you can do that. There's also smaller ones that you can like splice into a cable, which I find also really neat. And there's also PowerCon as well. Like, once again, I don't know how many of us are actually using PowerCon within our racks, but the events industry in general, live events industry, seems to like PowerCon a lot more than I do. Yeah, that was really cool to see that today. Now let me go back and jump over to the chat. Gikasine asks, did they announce something new for Elgato or just the studio? Yeah, so if you missed yesterday's stream, what was announced is that Elgato now has a little add-on piece that you can put in the back of, for example, your Stream Deck XL, and then you plug the USB-C in, and then it's a PoE-enabled device, but the PoE isn't only for the power, but it also allows you to then remote control, use it for like as a remote device. So you don't need to have long USB cables anymore or anything like that. Yeah. So apart from that, they also did announce that for those of you who have taken apart the Stream Decks, that there's also a new thing now that allows you to get only the modules from within the Stream Decks, and then you can 3D print your own enclosure, customize it. Both of those are probably going to be released in June, is what I'm hearing. And the little PoE injector remotization tool is going to be around 75 euros. Yeah. Let's see. What else did I do today? One of the really cool things about ISE is that it's so easy to walk around, but it also means you see so many things in just a single day that it's easy to forget what all you have seen. So if we take a look at this, this is in the LED Pro Lighting Hall, and you walk in there and it is all full of haze. And then you just walk around, and there is a bunch of these LED bars, LED washers, all of that. And have to admit, I have no use for those, but it's still pretty cool to look at. And there was this whole demo there that I'm showing you right now. That was pretty cool. They had this whole ring of like moving lights and did a little demo there with a bunch of LED panels. That was really cool. But what I also like is how easy it is to get from A to B at ISE. So the convention center here, the FIRA Europe. It's basically like a couple of buildings on one straight line. And what the neat thing with that is that if you need to get from hall to hall, you can just walk in a straight line through, and then basically all of the halls are adjacent, so you can just walk over the yard and get there. Which, like, if you compare that to a RAI, where like you have a meeting in hall 1 and need to get to hall 8, you probably need to like plan 15 to 20 minutes. Here it's more like 5, 10 minutes max. Still takes a while to get used to the orientation here. Also gonna have a look at the LinkedIn. The other thing is we did another trip to the Zoom booth. So I'm gonna be doing a little video with Andy Caluccio about Zoom Room's custom AV, just a new product that you can use for sending in and out SDI feeds with a Zoom Room. And yeah, in other news, let's see what else. If you have any questions, let me know. So the other really cool thing that I saw today, I have to look at my list, because I did make myself a list, is that you see more and more vendors working together, and it's kind of interesting how many competing standards there are at this point. Like you have NDI, then you have Dante AV, which kind of tries to be between Dante, kind of tries to be like higher quality than NDI. Well, at least with Dante AV Ultra. But then there's also the full-fledged 702110, and then also IPMX. And 2110 and IPMX are both quality-wise, I would say, relatively similar, with the neat thing of IPMX that it transports the different feeds, so like the audio and video feeds together in one stream. So that's why you don't need a PTP clock. With 702110, you can mix and match the audio and video feeds easier with IPMX, since all the audio feeds are part of the video feed. That's a little harder, but the big advantage with IPMX is that you can just use off-the-shelf COTS hardware. You don't need a special switch. You have less requirements for the network. And with 702110, you of course need more on that front. And the thing that I also saw about 702110 is that Blackmagic finally has their switch there, their 702110 switch, the 360. That's quite interesting and pretty cool. But what I would also say is that right now, I think 702110 will really take off when we get to a place where you can use one cable for multiple feeds. And right now, with like 10 gig connections, we're still not really there. At least what Blackmagic does. He2 Record John, who was on the stream yesterday, asks, what are your plans for day 3 tomorrow? And will there be another stream afterwards? And also, when are you headed home? Tomorrow is kind of like shooting day. So there's a couple of videos that I've planned, a couple of booth visits that I still have planned, but my feet are starting to hurt after walking around the whole day. So I will see how long I can walk around tomorrow. But there's still a couple things here and there that I haven't seen. A lot of the more building focused things like KNX and some different like smart home control things I haven't at all looked at. We first wanted to look at the AV broadcast thing. There's a couple booths that I haven't visited yet. Those are all on my list for tomorrow. And then I have a handful of meetings tomorrow with vendors and integrators. But I don't think there will be a stream tomorrow. There might be like a something, but I doubt it. Because today I thought, yeah, I'll just leave a little later and then move the stream a little later. What took a lot longer to get here since everybody else wants to leave as well. So I don't think that fully works. Yeah, and then on Friday I will be flying home again. And then maybe we'll, depending on what all goes on, we'll do another stream with John or something else next week. But there's already a couple things planned now that I met a bunch of people at ISE. Jack asked what new tech stood out as the most exciting announcement at ISE. I think it's hard to say what specific tech. I think that the whole industry is moving more and more to software based and COTS hardware, and all that is pretty neat. I saw an interesting demo today of NDI audio. There was an NDI stage box, so you could use NDI for just transmitting your audio, and the latency was actually pretty good. It wasn't that bad. I finally saw the Yamaha DM3 in person, and that is a lot smaller than I thought. So that was kind of cool to see. And then Yamaha also released new Ethernet switches. I've also got to see those. Those were pretty cool. I I think the Stream Deck PoE injector is probably the coolest thing I've seen. Just because it allows us to like use an existing Stream Deck infrastructure and then just use that to continue with what we were already doing, where like we just send you this and then you can connect to us. We would still need to send like a VPN so we can connect to it, but that might also be solvable. Let me have another look over here. And then I have a little fun thing for us to do. So if we look at my wide camera, you might notice that that is badly out of focus. Let's see if we can pull up my wide camera. There we go. Look at that. We even have a 2-up with it. So what we're gonna do is what I was using to control that was a little RCP software. But what we're now gonna try is we're gonna try to hit the autofocus button on it. So I am gonna go to the Blackmagic website and figure out what command we need to use for that. And as soon as I have that open, we're gonna look at that. Because I thought it would be kind of a cool little interstitial to actually solve this on the air and kind of showcase that that is a thing that Blackmagic now can do. I really enjoy that they are going the IP-based route. I also kind of think it's validating that if you have looked at it in the past, you noticed that the BGH1 and a lot of those cameras required an SDK to be implemented, and that is no longer the case. So like, I know that the BGH1 doesn't have the update, but there's the UB10 and the UB40 from Panasonic, which are, if you look at it, it really looks like a BGH1 and a PS1H, but they have the firmware from that the other ones have. So it turns out I can't actually find the manual. So that's fun. The thing to note about the Blackmagic cameras is that they actually document themselves. So let's see, Blackmagic. Camera REST API. And while we're working on that, let me know if you have any questions. But what I will also say is one of the cool, there it is, I found it. Camera control. Let's see. So what we need to do is we need to take the IP address of our camera, which I happen to know, /API / let's see, what is it? /API /v1 /control. And then it's gonna be self-documenting. That being said, I just closed wherever I was, where I saw that URL. Maybe it should not just not work today. That is also fine. There we go. So we have the camera control protocol here. And now if we go here, they tell us it needs to be this specific URL. But what we can actually do is we will use the right URL there. Because I happen to know that mine is at this IP address. So we're gonna go here, gonna change that to this, and boom, nothing. Isn't that amazing? Well, we're gonna not do it then. Gonna give that a try another time. But in theory, this is where it would document its API, and then we could have pressed a button to focus it. Because to do all the color, I used this multicam RCP that I've been trialing, and it has been pretty cool because you can have all the camera. But what was missing is a way to easily control the focus. So it's out of focus because it's a box camera, and like always, we kind of ran out of time. The other really cool thing is that at this ISE, it was cool to walk around and talk a lot about space comms, because a lot of people are excited about having web-based comms that are actually built for remote and cloud production. And yeah, that has been pretty exciting. If you don't have any more questions, what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the outro, which is the intro slide. And then I'm going to put the LinkedIn link into YouTube. And then if you want, you can jump over there, give us a minute, and we will, I'll be back with Taka Dragu, who has been cutting this whole thing. And then we will answer some questions and talk a little bit about how this whole thing worked, how we are sending multiple SDI-based cameras into Zoom, and all that. If you enjoyed this more rambly, laid-back stream, hit the like button. If you didn't, that is also fun. There's going to be more straightforward streams with John asking good questions in the future. And then subscribe if you don't want to miss some videos about ISE. I have a video scheduled about the new Elgato thing again, and then talking about Zoom Room's custom AV. And then I am gonna answer one question from Guy Cochran. And I'm actually gonna pull up the LinkedIn. And I can't pull up the LinkedIn because you need to be logged in. Of course, that's fun. So I am gonna post the LinkedIn chat in here, and then everybody can start looking at that. Because Guy Cochran asks, what's on the stats page in the multi-viewer on LinkedIn? So how today has happened is I use a PAP link, and that PAP link is so on the stats page, you just see our PAP link stats for that specific PAP link. It's just a behind the scenes to see how much throughput we're using and all that. That being said, thank you so much everyone for watching. I know this has been a little more rambly, but I will talk to you soon. If you haven't checked out Space Comms yet, it's a newly released intercom product that I and John Barker have been working on for the last year, and I'd love to hear what you think. And with that, I will say bye to the YouTube stream, and I'll see you over on LinkedIn in a couple minutes. Thank you.